So, great news today. The front panel has arrived, and on closer inspection, it's similar to a Corsa front panel. Let me just show you some of the differences. If we look at the original that is still on here, we have just underneath these pipes here, one captive bolt, three captive bolts. The beam itself, and then what would have been three captive bolts on this side. On this one we have two. There is space for the other one, which is just there. However, if we look down inside the hole, it doesn't actually line up. So we're going to have to get a small needle file in there just to open those up. And the same on this side too, it's just the same there. So a little bit of rework is going to be required on that. There's also a panel here, I don't know what that's for. There was a sensor just held on the original one on that bit there. So all good. Very heavy. Seems quite well made. However, a lot of the flanges are quite wide apart. Now for me, I'd have a preference to pinch all this up, and once it's welded I'm going to seal this somehow, try and find a way of actually getting some life, extra life out of it, because we don't want to be replacing this again in a hurry. Okay, so now it's time to start to remove the panel. What we do know is that this panel, or the new panel, runs all the way underneath this bit here. And I don't know if you can very carefully see, but there's little spot welds just underneath here. There's evidence of one just there. And this is the original panel underneath. There would have been a panel come down here and a link to this panel here. That's rotted away. And it would have run down the back here and been welded in. So I've gone down here with a grinder and cutting wheel, cut this off. This bit here is all rotted away anyway, so it isn't going to take much to actually pull that apart. There we go. And I'm going to do the other side as well. I'm going to cut that around about here somewhere, so we're away from where all the pipe work is. And then we're going to have a look at trying to unpick the original panel from the end of the chassis legs. And that'll be the fun bit. Okay, so sorry about the lighting, but we've got to film from underneath. We've cut the front panel off. We've now left with the end pieces here and all this mess here, which I've got to try and get tidied up. So we want to get these all nice flat edges, faces. We need this bit removing back up to this part here, which we need to keep. So all of this at the back, all to come off. And obviously the same on the other side. So you'll join me in a couple of minutes by the magic of video. So here you can see the panel's now been devoid of all the old panel and is ready now for me to start trying to form repairs to it. So just machine this all up and wire wheel it and find out where we can start to weld new metal to. Be interesting. So just a quick test fit of the original panel, see that everything's going together square, and it seems to. And on this side, same, using the jack just to hold it up. So now we've just got to clean up the ends and make good so that we can start A, to form the repair panels for the missing parts, and B, put some tabs in so we can weld all this lot together. Okay, so we got to the point where the front panel's now actually being offered up to the car. I've used a jack to actually hold it up. We used to use a set of mole grips to actually pull the two panels together. We've brought the panel ends together to give us a good indication. And if we look on the other side here, this all comes together here. We've got to put a plate on the back here, but all this all matches up to the original panelling. And the same on the other side. And what I've done is I've put some run welds in here into the joint inside, and that really is good and strong enough. However, man of caution, I've made a little L-shaped panel which I will plug weld into there. This is basically to reinforce this and also to give extra rigidity on the weld. What you will notice, I've tried to shape it a little bit so at least it looks half reasonable when it goes in there. So it will look perhaps very much similar to something we have on that side, which again I'll replicate again anyway. So with the run weld along the base panel to the chassis leg, I've then used an L-shaped plate just to tidy that off and try and give it a little bit of additional support, and we've done the same both sides, and I think that's quite a tidy job. Just got to clean the welds up and wire brush it all down, and then we'll tackle it from the other sides. I'll show you this when we've actually finished it. And what we've done is we've made up the end of the chassis member here. Okay, so we've got some run welds along the main chassis member at the top. The tabs have all been spot welded, the ends have been all tidied up. So with the welds on top, that's a sufficient job. It's perfectly strong. That is not going to be going anywhere. Same both sides. Now the next job obviously is to get all those welds all cleaned up and get them dust free, dirt free, grease free. We'll get some seal around it and hopefully that will dry overnight, and then we can get some sort of protective coating on it. And tomorrow I'm going to be continuing on with the chassis dog leg. That's the other side of that bit. I'm going to have a crack at the other side of that tomorrow. And that should be an interesting day. Let's hope it doesn't rain. Okay, so with the front panel now all sealed off, what I have done is I've given it a coat of Gravlex, which is like a rubberized coating over it, just basically to try and give it some added protection, because this bit is obviously the bit that's going to pick up all the stones and stuff. So there's a heavy coating of that. I'll be following that up with some paint as well then, and that will be, as far as I'm concerned, a double protection on there, and hopefully that'll last us a good few years. And so the next step here is to start to put that bumper and those headlights back in, and the radiator of course. Well, it's been an interesting couple of days, I must say, putting that front panel on. However, a great sense of achievement for me to be able to say that the car's now sitting square. It's got all the bits and pieces on it, and just leaving me now, maybe if it's raining tomorrow, to put the bumper and the radiator and all that back on, and I can do that in the front end of the garage. I hope you guys have got something out of it, and for your own projects, maybe you're picking up a tip or two. But remember, if there's anything I can help with, feel free to drop us a comment. If I can answer it, I will. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video when I'm working on that chassis. Speak soon. Bye-bye.